Good morning, and welcome back. Again, we are talking about generational curses and how we as people have to persevere and move forward and learn from the mistakes of yesterday. So, my grandmother used to be a very strict West Indian woman, and she would lock things down when she went to bed at night. So, she would tie certain strings around the milk so that she'd know exactly if the milk container was unscrewed, put little markings on where the line was, where the milk was, and she'd do this for different items in the refrigerator. So it was almost as though she was teaching her children how to be sneaky, because then, of course, if they wanted something, they had to figure out a way to make sure they went back up to that line. So when you're strict like that towards your children, even though your children might want to be less strict on their own children, some of these cycles are continuing, you know? My whole point in actually talking about these topics and discussing them further is to make sure that we don't continue to make the same mistakes, you know? These generations are supposed to be improving. We're supposed to be making sure that our children feel more comfortable. And also we want to make sure that they feel safe. When we have these different examples, we are, like I said, putting them almost on display just to make sure that we do not repeat them. Sometimes people say, okay, why are you doing this? Why are you embarrassing? No, the whole point is that you live vicariously through other people so that you don't make those same mistakes. So with her being strict, it kind of put my parent, my mother figure, my aunt, my uncle in a certain box, which made them feel like they had to be perfect in certain aspects of the word, you know. As I said before, my uncle was a carpenter. He could make furniture the drop of a hat. He made my grandmother's couch. He made my mother's couch. And he just had such a creative way of doing things, you know. And both my aunt and my mother were taught how to sew. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes when one person does a job a little differently than another, it might be perceived as being better. My aunt would find shortcuts to do the job, and whereas my mother, she took a long period of time because she wanted to make sure that it was perfect. She was a perfectionist. And sometimes when they bring their work back, you know, my grandmother would make certain comments. Now, I'm not going to say that I wouldn't have rathered my stuff be done faster, but I have to say, when you skip certain steps, it is not done correctly, and sometimes it will unravel. My mother, like I said, was impeccable with things, so she would take her time in doing certain things, and it just took a little longer than you would have wanted at times, you know. Like I told you about that dress that I got in trouble for wearing at school before she finished it. I remember her knitting an Angora sweater. It was beautiful, it was white, and I could only wear it for special occasions. And it didn't seem like there was enough special occasions for me because I wanted to wear it all the time. I wanted to live in this sweater because it felt, the texture of the Angora, the yarn was just so soft and so nice on your skin. It felt so nice against your skin. So between the two of them, they would make certain things. Now my Aunt Shirley, she was more so of a show off. I'll be honest, it was a show and tell for her. So she'd basically, I felt like when I went to visit her, I was the doll. And she'd make certain items, and we'd go out and we'd walk around, and she'd say, I made this, da. Whereas my mother, she would make certain things, but she would never brag about it. She would just make it for you. If someone complimented you, she'd say, just say thank you, you know. So I guess it just depends on the individual and how we tend to handle certain things. But like I said, my grandmother made sure, she wanted to make sure that everyone had a trade. Everyone knew how to cook, clean, and sew. That was one of the things. So my uncle knew how to sew pretty well. And I'm gonna tell you, if he could have a competition with his sisters, and I'm sure he would have definitely gained some points because he was really good at what he did as well. However, excuse me, we have to also look at complexion. Let's be honest, this goes on in a lot of different families. One person is lighter than the other, then they are treated a different way. It's really a funny thing to me because I've seen it happen even in other cultures. And I've noticed that when my father was dating my mother, her complexion was an issue because she basically blended in with his siblings. My father was lighter than she was. And then when he got married, my stepmother was lighter than everybody. Why this is that our society looks at complexion, I have no idea. I used to make jokes, joke around with my little sister about it, but I didn't realize that she internalized it in a totally different way. It's just that when I made the joke, I was really asking the question, like, how is this possible? Your mother and my father and our father are lighter. How did you came out darker? I just said it, and I kind of laughed, and it was taken very seriously. I apologize, but you can never apologize sometimes to certain individuals because, once it hits a certain, certain bone, certain element, they get upset. This is something that we find going on in society in so many different streams, so many different cultures. Why is this? No one is better because they have a certain complexion. No one is better because they have a certain texture of hair. Everyone should be happy and really basking and enjoying who they really are. When are we going to learn that you should be happy in the skin that you're in? God blessed you with those eyes. God blessed you with those toes. You are unique all by yourself. You don't need to be measured against anyone else to know how unique and how beautiful you actually are. But somehow our cultures, our family breakdown, so many people have judged us for so long that we have allowed ourselves to fall into these categories instead of just being happy with who we are. And that's one thing that we need to work on as individuals, as a society. Being happy with who we are, being grateful for the wonderful things that we have. And when we do persevere, when we do find ourselves in a situation where we're really happy with a vehicle, a car, or anything, all we need to do is say thank you because God gave it to us, right? Why is it that we have to compare ourselves to someone else? Let me tell you something. If I see a woman walking down the street with a beautiful dress on, I'm going to compliment her. And I'm going to compliment her because she looks beautiful in it, and I want her to know it. If I see a gentleman walking down the street in a suit, equally, I'm going to say, wow, you really look very nice or handsome today. And I'm not flirting. I'm just basically giving them their due, their just due. Why is it that we can't just take a compliment and not have to worry about all the extra little things? Just say thank you and move forward. We in the society have gotten so uptight in so many different levels. If we could just enjoy each day. There's a song that my grandparents used to sing, one day at a time. That's all I'm asking of you, and that was them saying thank you to God for giving me each day. Can we be thankful for each day that we are walking in, each day that we're basking in, and appreciate each moment? Because we're not promised anything. So if we can appreciate who we are in this moment, and we can appreciate what we have in this moment, and we could just smile about it and be happy, that would be a great gift to even God. The reason why we smile is not to uplift just ourselves, but to uplift other people who are in our surroundings. We want to find each day, find something wonderful, something good that we can look forward to each and every day. Because if your life is not what you want it to be, then there's something that you need to do to make it better. We are making our lives better each and every day by just being here and enjoying what God has given us. If I had to define love, I would define the picture that I'm going to be holding in this actual post. I'm going to post it for this actual video. Because in this picture, I'm in the picture with my younger brother and my Aunt Neat. And this is the time when I was able to be a child, when I was able to enjoy my childhood. When we went to Aunt Neat and Aunt Barbara's house, we had fun. We were able to enjoy and just be children. Nobody was bossing you or telling you what to do. They were just asking, you want to eat something? They had food on the table at designated hours, and we just wanted to be outside. And they didn't push the issue. They just put it, you know, in the oven and kept it warm, so when you came in and you were hungry, you had food to eat. But while we were out, we could run through the cornfield. We could pick an apple off the apple tree. We could climb the tree. You know, we could eat a peach if we wanted to eat a peach. All these different things were in that yard, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I was heartbroken when I found out that they sold this house. Because in my thoughts, I thought that we would always have this house. I thought maybe one of us would actually buy this house later on and continue to live in it. My Aunt Nita and my Aunt Barbara took the peaches from that yard, I'll never forget it, and they canned them. Meaning they put them in jars and cooked them so that you could have them all year round. And one of those jars was pulled when we had to have peach cobbler. And they pulled it out of the cabinet, opened it up, you could hear the sound when she opened up the jar. And that jar of peaches that we pulled, that we actually picked, was actually placed in a cobbler. It's important that we carry on certain traditions, because certain traditions will be helpful. And they will also help us to save money as well, such as it did them. But not only that, like I said, that land was rich, because not only did our family members enjoy living there and spending summers, spending holidays there, but we enjoyed actually spending love there, enjoying and basking and appreciating each other's company. So when we say that we love each other, when we say that we want to live our lives in a more fruitful way, we have to look at what that means. What does that look like? In this picture, that looks like love to me. Enjoying each other's company and appreciating the individuals in your surroundings. For that, I have to say, it's so lovely being you, and thank you so much for joining us today.